Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 866, we're going to talk about Shintai of the Shared Purpose. Now, there's a cycle of these. This is the first of 5. They're technically 6, but these are legendary enchantment creature shrines, so they can be commanders. Now, to quote a Jurassic Park quote, just because we can do a thing doesn't mean we should do a thing. Yeah. Let's read it. 1/3 Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token for each shrine you control. Now, there are only this and 2 other mono white shrines. That is it. So, this means that the theme of the deck is only 3 cards deep in and of itself, because you want both shrines. Now, should these be used as commanders? Probably not. They made these so that the 5-color one would be a decent deck. Now, but these are legendary creatures, and I have to build them because I'm building them all. So here's what I did. Obviously, I started with the Honden of Cleansing Fire and the Sanctum of Tranquil Light, the only 2 other mono white shrines. And I was like, well, what do these 3 cards have in common? Well, they're all enchantments, right? And it's white, so we're going to go heavy into mono white enchantments. But first, let's look at our ramp. Of course, we have Soul Ring, Marble Diamond. We don't have a whole lot. Seer's Lantern, Sisay's Ring, and the Hedron Archive. We don't have a whole lot of really high casting cost things. So, creature-wise, I have 4 creatures that are not enchantments themselves. Yeah, I went heavy into the enchantment creature. But we have the Blessed Spirits, because, I mean, that's a whole bunch of counters, because most of the deck is enchantments. Celestial Ancient. Put a +1/+1 counter on your whole team. That was too good for me to pass up. Johnny's Chosen, getting free 2/2s. And then, of course, the Mesa Enchantress for a little bit of card draw. Now, let's get into our... Wow, these are in, it looks like, mana cost order. Enchantment Creatures. Now, these are in here because they are enchantment creatures. What they do was not... did not disqualify them or qualify them for the deck, because I was wanting as many mono white enchantment creatures as possible. Now, as it turns out, there's not a lot of sets that have that in them. It's gotten more common over the past couple of years than it used to be, but yeah, heck, before 10 years ago, this didn't even exist. But a lot of these have bestow. I played this deck. I don't remember if I won or lost, but I remember having fun. I did draw the Ghostblade Eidolon. But yes, just a lot of enchantment creatures, because that's what I wanted. Yes, Back to Nature or Tranquility, it'll wreck it. Absolutely, every time. But that is it for our enchantment creatures. But then, and I thought, well, Resurgent Belief to bring them all back, and the new Brilliant Restoration, albeit it's 7 mana, but it's just yours. So then we go to our regular enchantments, right? Stuff that is just good. I mean, to Reconnaissance, just a good card. Sigil of the Empty Throne. I drew, it did draw a removal spell after making an angel or 2. As well it should have. Sphere of Safety. I didn't see this in my playthrough, but I am telling you, this is probably the most powerhouse card in the deck, since there are so many enchantments. Every creature but 4 you have are enchantments. Tried to make the best I could with this commander, having, effectively one arm tied behind his back. intangible virtue, because we have cat tokens and angel tokens and all kinds of tokens. So the Dictate of Heliod, Glorious Anthem, Skybind. I like Skybind. Leyline of Sanctity, Righteous Aura is a neat one. Pay 2 life to prevent all damage you from any one source. Now this card is kind of unsung because if you're dying to commander damage, I will pay a white mana and 2 life to keep from that happening. To keep from taking 12 or whatever. Now Gossamer Chains is another one that often gets overlooked in enchantment style decks. For 2 mana, you cast it, but then to use it, you return it to your hand. Target unblocked creature deals no combat damage this turn. Here again, saves you from commander damage. Not just you, but if you want to make an alliance of some sort. But Gossamer Chains has the beautiful part of, to use it, puts it back in your hand. So in your heavy Enchantress decks, Sithis, whatever, your green-white ones, you have the benefit of recasting this, kind of like a Broken Fall type thing. Only I think Gossamer Chains is probably a little better than Broken Fall. But then we have the 1-2 punch here. These enchantments don't see a lot of use. Absolute Law. All creatures gain pro red. Absolute Grace. All creatures pro black. White's 2 worst enemies. Of course, these are the only 2. The other 3 don't exist. Yet, anyway. But, heck of an enchantment. Pretty low cost. Now, yes, it's all creatures, even your opponents. So, it does tend to make things like Chain Reaction not as good. Blasphemous Act, what have you. So, that leaves us to auras. Only have 4. We're playing mono white, so you know the Armored Ascension's in there just in case we draw it and it's late game and we can slap it on our commander and maybe win a commander game with a Go Shintai. No. Unquestioned Authority I really like. Does grant protection from creatures, replaces itself when you cast it. It's beautiful. Ethereal Armor, I mean, first strike and +1 for each enchantment. The only thing better than that is all that glitters. +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment. So it'll count your mana rocks as well. Now, that leads us to removal. Which, surprise, surprise, Disenchant is our only non-enchantment one. I felt the need for some kind of... oh, nope, I'm sorry. There's another one. Wing Shards. Because people... I'm telling you, I'll teach this lesson as long as people are willing to be taught this lesson. But we do have Seal of Cleansing, Soul Snare, both really good. But then, like, Nahiri's Binding, Stasis Snare, Cage of Hands, Faith Fetters, all kind of aura removal-ish type cards, you know. And Hour of Reckoning as our wipe, because I feel like you need 1, right? Granted, it does cost 7. We are making some tokens, so that's kind of why I chose this one over some of the others. And lastly, our 3 non-basic lands. There's Cycling, you know, the Drifting Meadow, Secluded Steppe, and Desert of the True. And so that is the first Go Shintai deck. Now, these were not made, kind of like the new Meosians, these were not made with the idea to be commanders. They really, really weren't. But they exist, and therefore that's a thing that I have to do. I'm trying to shuffle this up a little bit because a lot of times when we sit down to play, you can always tell a deck will have 37 lands right there together, right? Or 38. But that is that. So we're going to go over here, put this onto the wall. It's 866. It's been a couple days, I know. I do appreciate y'all watching, liking, subscribing, all this stuff. Thank you to all of the new subscribers. We are getting really, really close to that next 1,000 mark number. So, actually, we're getting really close to deck number 900 here too. I've already picked out 900. I've already picked out 1,000 too, because 1,000 is something special, and it's going to take me longer to build than probably any other deck I've ever made. So I've picked out what's going to be 900, what's going to be 1,000. Obviously, 900 is kind of more pressing because we are, what is this, 65? We're 35 decks away, and most of them are going to be easily built because, you know, Kamigawa. What can we do? So that is what I have got for today. I do appreciate y'all watching, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.